Hey all, Heretic here. Patch 32.2.2 goes live today, and there are a ton of changes. We've got Battlegrounds basically just ripping the entire meta apart and changing it because, well, the meta lately has been kind of crap, and now it's getting redone because it's so bad they've probably lost most of their players, so please, let's try to save it. We've got bug fixes, we have the Into the Emerald Dream set dropping, we have the Embers of the World Tree event, everything. There's just so much to cover with all the changes. Let's jump right into it. All right, Hearthstone players, you've got your new set, the Emerald Dream mini set, dropping today, and that is going to be either going to be $14.99 or 2,000 gold to get the normal one, or the all gold version, if that's what you prefer. And honestly, if I played standard, I'm a sucker. I like the gold cards. That's $69.99, not nice, or a whopping 10,000 gold. Now, mind you, I have almost, I think, 100,000 gold in the game right now. So could I afford it? Yes. Do I play standard? So am I going to buy it? No, but you know, it'd be nice to have something to spend that gold on. Jump in there, get all those cards and have some fun. Spice up that gameplay and hopefully make it a little better for yourself. All right, Battlegrounds players, we've got a lot, so let's jump into it. We're going to start with some dev comments about the changes happening here, and they are: this set of balance changes is primarily aimed at strengthening underperforming compositions and reducing the power of the two strongest compositions in the current meta, Tavern Spell Mechs and End of Turn Elementals. At the same time, we generally aim to have at least two different options within each type. So we're also buffing the Tavern buff cards and elementals and returning Kangor's Apprentice to the minion pool. We also made a few tier swaps for Naga and Demons in anticipation for their relative power after these adjustments. We've also made a ton of adjustments to Trinkets and are trying out a rule change to greater Trinket offerings. We'll be watching game data and player feedback after this change to decide if we should make this permanent change. So let's think about that. They're nerfing elementals and mechs, which are great. They definitely should be doing that. But at the same time, it sounds like they're buffing, well, changing some of the tiers on minions for Naga and Demons to make them more effective, which is a little concerning because Demons are already currently one of the best performing tribes, depending how you want to calculate performance. Same with Naga. So hopefully some of these buffs, are, as you see, are going to be nerfs also, so the tribe across the whole isn't just switching elementals and mechs down to pop up Demons in Naga to now be the dominant tribes that just slaughter every game. Let's see. So far, the track record here has been pretty bad, but there's been no changes. They just put a bunch of really broken shit in the game at launch. Even though you knew it was broken when you looked at it, you just, in some cases, didn't realize how stupidly broken it was. Now, the Trinket rule update's important, so we're going to cover that first, and that is the greater Trinket slot that used to have a 50% chance to offer an untyped Trinket and a 50% chance of a discounted Trinket will now always offer an untyped Trinket. While the original intent of the pivot chance was to create opportunities for novel gameplay, we think the turn 9 timing in the current meta will likely make a neutral Trinket more compelling the choice on average. And that is true, right? Like, you can't typically pivot very effectively to anything other than scam unless you are incredibly strong or rich with gold. You know, have you been cycling pirates somehow and you've got yourself to like 15 gold a turn? Yeah, you could pivot no problem. Do you have 10 gold? Do you have a board of mediocrity and kind of direction in one way but nothing else? A neutral Trinket that might just offer you more tempo or more economy might help you survive and place better than switch to a new tribe and watch yourself die next turn. So this is probably a much better change, I'm hoping. We'll see how it works in effect, but I'm optimistic on this one, at least as a positive thing. What do you think? Trinket changes. Now, right off the bat, there are a ton of trinkets being changed. Now, the gold cost on the Trinket changes, I'm not going to talk about because we're talking like 30, it feels like maybe 40 trinkets having their prices adjusted across the board. I'm not going to cover all those because the simple animations of popping them up would take forever. I will put in the description a link to this. So if you want to see every single one, how they're adjusting, you can just go look at it right there. But I will cover anything here that has a functionality change because those are in the important change. All right, so the lesser trinket changes we have, we're starting with gem donation. That is old. The first minion you sell each turn plays its blood gem on the 2 highest tier minions in the tavern. Is now going to be the first minion you sell each turn plays its blood gems on the 3 highest tier minions in the tavern. Now, I don't know how this has worked for you. I have never taken this one before. I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually take this one before. I don't care. I don't want to buff typically the ones in the tavern. If it could go to ones on my board, that would feel great. But going to the tavern means it's at least a good chance they're going to be wasted in some cases. I honestly just rather not have this trinket. There's almost always something better for me. I'm sure someone's going to highlight where it's great, but for me, it kind of sucks. Cliff Diver sticker is just getting a tiny change. Don't need to worry about the old one because it is such a minor change, but the new version is at the end of each turn, give your leftmost minion +3/+3, improved by each battle cry you trigger this turn. It's just 1 additional health. If you're taking this, it's better. No reason not to if you still, for some reason, want this. Now, Weary Portrait gets a big change. It goes from being a 7 gold, get a Weary Mage, and a Coil Scar Sapper. Your Weary Mage spellcrafts are permanent, to now being 3 gold, get a Weary Mage. Your Weary Mage spellcrafts are permanent. Now, obviously, this isn't as good as it was before. We no longer are getting the free Sapper. We're no longer going to have that having permanent Reborn unless we find it in the shop. And the only other card you really want to Reborn, well, there's a couple. The all-type ones, of course, are great. And then there's the Death Rattle one, which we can find on tier 5. Those are all great with permanent Reborn. So maybe you still want this trinket. It really depends which other ones are offered to you, but there's no doubt it's not as good as it was before. Shrine of Evolution changes from 0 gold, transform all your minions into random tier 3 minions, to 2 gold, transform all your minions into random tier 4 minions. That sounds great. Here's the problem with it. I've never seen it. This thing has never been offered to me in the many, probably hundreds of games I've played at this point, to even take it for tier 3 random minions. So I don't even know if this is good or not in the scenarios. It's like, obviously, if your board's all crap, bunch of tier 3 minions sounds great. Bunch of tier 4 sounds even better. I'm willing to pay 2 gold for that. This one certainly sounds okay, but having never seen it before, I don't know what you need to get it. Apparently more luck than I have. Finley's Helmet goes from being, after each refresh, give Murlocs in the tavern +2/+2 and a random bonus keyboard, to now, after each refresh, give Murlocs in the tavern +5/+5 and a random bonus keyword. I mean, right now we're not playing Murlocs. Hey, we all played them if you played during the first 4 hours of the patch because you won all your games with Murlocs. Now, they're not very good, so you haven't been wanting this, but this is a significant stat buff. And if you find yourself playing Murlocs, it's quite good. So I'm excited to hopefully get some more Murlocs after the changes today and try this out. Sacrificial Altar used to be 2 gold, remove all your minions, gain 3 gold for each removed, is now 4 gold, remove all your minions, gain 4 gold for each removed. Well, all right, well, it pays for itself once you get rid of 1 minion, so it's not bad. If you have a bunch of minions on the board, say heaven forbid a full board, that is quite a bit of gold. I've only been offered this a couple times, and sadly, every time it was offered to me, I had a board where I did not want to sacrifice them, but in every case, that was where certain Nagas were on my board that probably shouldn't have been there because they were under-tiered and now will be better balanced. Maybe one day I'll get to use this, and if I don't, hey, that just means I feel like my board's good enough where I don't need this. Vibrant Bubble goes from being 2 gold, spellcraft, give a Murloc 2 random bonus keywords, to now 1 gold, spellcraft, give a Murloc a random bonus keyword. Now, once again, I never got offered this because they didn't play Murlocs beyond the first day. 1 gold to get a random keyword, I think is fine. 2 gold to get 2 is great. Probably a little too great, but 1 to get 1 is fine. I have no problem with that. It sounds good to me. It's only temporary, which is my only downside because, you know, it's spellcraft, so I'm not in love with it. I'm sure there's better, lesser trinkets you can find, but I'm sure there's times this is at least decent compared to the other ones. Fountain Pen just got a little tiny change. Now it is your elementals that give stats, grant an extra +2/+1. It's an extra attack, well worth it. Bleeding Heart, even after the massive change from its original form, goes from being after 7 friendly minions die, get a random undead, to now after 8 friendly minions die, get a random undead. And this one feels really good when you get it and you have a bunch of summons, but 8's a lot. It's still probably good enough. Undead haven't been very good, so it's hard to say. We'll see after these changes if Undead can actually be something you want to play. Archaic Scroll used to be after you cast 6 spells, get a random tavern spell. Now is going to be after you cast 7 spells, get a random tavern spell. And I think if you're playing the board where you want this, it's still fantastic. Every time I've been offered this, I'm playing Naga because, hey, and then you're casting a million spellcraft spells, which count. And yeah, you just generate tavern spells like crazy. They're random tavern spells, so there's no guarantee they're good. But if you're playing Naga or Quillbore, that's still a lot of spells you're casting, so you're going to generate enough to make it worthwhile. Unholy Sanctum just got a nerf. It's a little one. Now it is going to be whenever you trigger a death rattle, give your rightmost minion +3/+2 permanently. It used to give 3 health, so it's a 1 health reduction. If it was good, it still is. Gold Grubber Portrait. This thing has been crap because Gold Grubber is too slow. Still might be too slow, but maybe this will fix it. We'll see. Used to be 6 gold, get a golden Gold Grubber. I took it once, just for fun. I died, of course, elementals. Who's going to win with that? I've seen people take it with a full golden board and a golden Drakari Enchanter, and they still lost. So not a huge fan of it still, but with this change, it is now 2 gold. Get a Gold Grubber and an Aureate Laureate. However you say it, I always just call them Owl. So you get a Gold Grubber and an Owl. Now the difference is you don't have a golden Gold Grubber, so you're not getting as many stats. We'll see how it plays out if this is worth it or not. Eclectic Shrine, tiny change, now is 1 gold, start of combat, give a friendly minion of each type +3/+2, improve this permanently. It's an extra attack, it costs 1 more gold. If you liked it, it's worth it. I don't think I ever wanted to take this. There was never a time when this was worth playing. Glowing Gauntlet, now will be 2 gold, minions in the tavern have +4/+4, it's 1 more gold, it's a 1/1 more buff. If you're taking this, it's because you feel like you're about to die or you're in serious danger. This is just to stabilize, so it's better at that. Booty Bay Brew got a decent buff. Used to be 0 gold. Whenever you spend gold, give a friendly pirate +1/+2. Now is 2 gold, but whenever you spend gold, give a friendly pirate +2/+3. It's a decent buff, especially in the early game for a lesser trinket. If you're going to buy a lot of cards, which you hopefully will, if this game goes any length of time, you're going to get a decent bit of stats from this. If you think you're playing pirates, I don't think this is bad at all. I liked it before, to be honest. Even just, hey, I roll once. Oh, +1/+2 to one of my minions. That doesn't feel bad. Now you're going to get a +2/+3. What's wrong with that? I think it's pretty good. It's not insane. It's just good. Heart of the Forest, tiny change. Now it's 2 gold. Your tavern spells that give stats, grant an extra +2/+1. Wasn't excited about it before. Not excited about now, but maybe the spell casting will be more important for buffing everything. We'll see. Impulsive Portrait gets a little bit of a change. Used to be 0 gold, get an Impulsive Trickster. Your Impulsive Trickster's death rattles target adjacent minions. Now it's 1 gold, you get a 6/6 Impulsive Trickster. So instead of a 3/3, 6/6 is much better. Your Impulsive Trickster's death rattles target adjacent minions. The problem is I typically don't want this. This is a high tempo thing though. If you have a taunt spell in your hand or in the shop, take this. This will give you more survivability if you're hemorrhaging health, so it's not horrible. Is it good? Situationally and in the right kind of weird board, it certainly is for the most part. I'm always nervous about things that can be abused by cleaves easier, but we'll see how it works. Explorer's Binoculars goes from being 1 gold, get 2 random tier 4s to now 2 gold, get 3 random tier 4s. Now, there's never been a time where I really wanted this, but maybe it's a little better now. I just don't like the random part. That's what kind of gets me. But if your board is complete crap and the other trinkets don't offer you much and you're desperate, at least it gives you something to work with. No, I've just never had a time where this was worth taking for me, but it's certainly a buff. Golden Pendant got a big change, and that used to be old. Make a random friendly minion from tier 3 or below golden at the start of every 2 turns. Repeat this. Now is make a random friendly minion from tier 3 or below golden at the start of each turn. Repeat this. Now, this one has a limited value, right? There's only so long this window is going to be open for you to take advantage of it. Because if you say, have no more tier 3 or below minions, you're probably not picking them up in the late game to make them gold. Maybe free dealing gamblers in the shop and you're cycling, and you're like, oh, pick it up, put it on your board. It's your only tier 2 minion. It's gold. You can sell it for 6 gold, profit. Otherwise, it's situational. Basically, that's going to be the upside to it in the late game, and there certainly can be one. But in the early game, it is going to give you a good bit of tempo. So we might start seeing a lot more Golden Pendant now that it's every turn. And just with that cycling aspect that you can keep in mind, it might give you some decent value. Wicked Tome got a good change. Used to be 2 gold, Avenge 4, your tavern spells that give stats, grant an extra +1 attack this game. New, 3 gold, your tavern spells that give stats, grant an extra +1 attack this game. If you liked this one, you'll like it more. I didn't really like this one, and it was very rare I would even consider it, and I never actually took it, but there you go. Innkeeper's Hearth used to be 1 gold, discover a minion of your tier, set its stats to 10/10. It is now 3 gold, discover a minion of your tier, set its stats to 15/15. This is your oh shit button. It's like, I'm in trouble, I have no good trinkets offered to me, and I might die. You take this thing, you get a 15/15, and you hope it works. It's like, hey, I already know I'm hurting. Let's just get the best thing I can to keep me alive. Now there is a whole ton of lesser trinket price changes. Like I said, those will be in the description. We have some ban updates. Beetle banned, now banned from Onyxia. So hey, yeah, it makes sense. Onyxia's hero power gives you a lot of potential to throw out a lot of minions and increase the value of your Avenge board. So this makes sense. Primordial Terrarium is just gone because hey, every time you play an elemental, making tavern spells cheaper is really stupidly good. Shouldn't have existed probably anyways. So that one makes complete sense. Selfless Portrait, gone also. Once again, the fact that you can just cycle Selfless Heroes and give permanent Divine Shields to your minions, stupidly good. I haven't seen it in a while. I took it the first couple days and it just kind of disappeared. So I don't know if they stealth nerfed it or I just wasn't seeing it. There's a lot of trinkets, so it's possible I just never saw it. Makes sense. Greater trinket updates, there's a lot of them. So let's jump into it. Once again, if it's just a gold change, you'll see it in the description, the link to go find those. We're just going to cover the functionals. Blood Golem sticker used to be 0 gold. Whenever a friendly Quillbore dies, summon a golem with stats equal to its gems 2 times per combat. Now 4 gold, so expensive. But whenever a friendly Quillbore dies, summon a golem with stats equal to its blood gems 3 times per combat. And that's worth the 4 gold. If you're playing Quillbore, if you already know you've got enough gems where you can make this function, this is going to work for you quite a bit. Quillbore are already actually in a decent place right now when they hit, and this is just going to help them hit harder, and I'm sure we'll see some changes that make them even more abusable. We'll see. Reinforced Shield going to change. Now it's just whenever you summon a minion, give it Divine Shield 5 times per combat. There are times when this is certainly good, and there are times when it's crap. It's better if you want to take it, so there you go. Battlehorn, it used to be 0 gold, discover a Battlecry minion, Avenge 3, trigger a friendly Battlecry. Now is 1 gold, discover a Battlecry minion, Avenge 2, trigger a friendly Battlecry. And it's pretty reasonable to do. Avenge 2. This one we did not see any real play with this when it was sitting there at Avenge 3, but maybe Avenge 2, we start seeing some use out of it. I know there's a couple times where it's worked for people, I've seen videos, but for the most part, it's been crap. So this might be a nice functional change to make this quite a bit better. Hackerfin Portrait is changing. Used to be 3 gold, get a Hackerfin. Your Hackerfins also trigger at the end of each turn. To now being 4 gold, get a Hackerfin. At the end of each turn, trigger your Hackerfin's battle cries. I'm going to assume this is just a wording change on it at the tail end there. Just at the end of each turn versus your Hackerfins also trigger at the end of each turn. You know, it's your turn. I mean, each turn, I don't know. It feels weird to me. It's just a weird way to phrase it, I think. If I'm completely misreading this and there's something you're like, oh wait, no, it's because of this interaction, let me know. But it sounds like it works basically the same. It's just 1 more gold for the purposes of the portrait. Heart of the Forest, tiny change. Now it's going to be 2 gold. Your tavern spells that give stats, grant an extra +3/+3. It's a 1/1 different. If you like this, there you go. Go for it. I don't like this one, but maybe you'll have the right build to make it work. We'll see. Toxic Stinger, little change. Used to be 3 gold. At the end of each turn, give a random friendly Murloc +7/+7 and Venomous. Now it's going to be 2 gold. At the end of each turn, give a random friendly Murloc +10/+10 and Venomous. So less gold, more stats, and Venomous still, so not bad. Fountain Pen, little bit of a change. It's now 3 gold. Your elementals that give stats grant an extra +4/+2, which is 2 more attack than it gave before. And if you're like, wait, why do elementals need more stats to be granted by their guys? We'll get there in the minions, but this is a buff for reasons you'll see. Feral Talisman goes from being +6/+4 to now just being your minions have +8/+5. It's a buff. If you want to take it, it's better. So there you go. Extravagant Scale. This one was kind of crap, and I have never seen it used before. It used to be 0 gold. When you spend 20 gold, double your minions attack once per game. Now being 2 gold. When you spend 20 gold, double your minions attack twice per game. Now, that is kind of a nutty increase when you think about that you're doubling it the first time permanently, and then when you double it the second time, that is a significant increase. Will it be enough to justify this existing at all? Because this is primarily a pirate thing. I don't know. Pirates, as much as I love them and their APM, we'll see. Maybe, probably not, but maybe. Innkeeper's Hearth, big change. Used to be 2 gold, discover a tier 6 minion, set its stats to 2020. Not bad, right? Now it's 2 gold, discovered 2 tier 6 minions, set their stats to 2020. That just made this thing sexy. Turn 9, you're gonna get 2 tier 6 2020s? You don't have direction yet. Hey, take this. Odds are it's gonna at least give you tempo, maybe, nudge yourself into that top 4 position, or just give you a synergistic win condition and destroy the lobby. This one, I think, is too much the other way. I mean, I liked it before. This is just kind of silly. Booty Bay Brew, small change. Whenever you spend gold, give a friendly pirate +4/+5. If you say you have a brand and you're cycling a lot of cards and you have some pirates, or maybe just one pirate and you're just buffing the hell out of it in the end because it's a cleave, or it's just something you want to have a big stats on because you're playing an all-type minion, yeah, go nuts, cycle, buff the hell out of it. Sometimes this will be quite good. Other times it'll be crap. You'll know when. Hogwash Basin got a little bit of a nerf. Used to be start of combat, play 4 blood gems on all your minions. Now start of combat, play 3 blood gems on all your minions. It's a 25% reduction. It's pretty good. This one was really, really strong before, so hopefully this brings it down a little bit. We'll see. Wizard's Pipe getting nerfed. Used to be whenever you cast a tavern spell, give your minions with no type +6/+6. Now being whenever you cast a tavern spell, give your minions with no type +5/+5. And that is not a huge reduction in cost, but it's considering how many tavern spells you can cast and all the things that buff tavern spells. This was a change to just nudge it in the right direction. Seeing that we're going to see a lot more of these type builds, I think, with the nerfs to elementals and mechs. We'll see. Poet Portrait goes from being 0 gold, get a persistent poet and a prize promo drake, to now being 4 gold, get a persistent poet, a prize promo drake, and a bronze steward, and then still regret you're playing dragons? They didn't even put that text on there. I just added it because you already know. Maybe this will make it viable, but I feel like a greater trinket slot, this is a little late. Maybe that bronze steward is what makes it work. But so far, yeah, it has not worked at all. Well, we're gonna see. The bronze steward, it's something, because you never want the bronze steward unless you're already playing dragons, and that can be said for, honestly, all 3 of these minions. So maybe, just maybe, this is like the new pivot, except it's only offered to you if you're playing dragons. So you're just pivoting hard into the comp that hopefully is going to do better. Wicked Tome, tiny change. Now is Avenge 3. Your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +1/+1. So if you're playing some kind of setup where you're casting a lot of tavern spells and you also have enough minions to die to buff this a decent bit, this could be good. We'll see. Theatar sticker, this poor thing. It's always felt bad. It still feels bad, but maybe this will make it work. Oh wait, probably not, but now it is just new. After you play a minion with no type, give a friendly minion of each type +6/+6. It's a 1/1 increase. They don't want to go nuts and say 8/8, but I don't know if this will be enough, but maybe we'll see. With the other nerfs, it might balance it out. Gilded Anchor, tiny buff. Now going to be 1 gold. At the end of each turn, give your golden minions +8/+8. I mean, typically it didn't work before. It's a bigger buff. They buffed some things. Maybe it'll work now. Realistically, no, but maybe. Artanis sticker, little bit of a change. Now only Immortal or Mothership can be offered as options. So significantly better, right? It's like pick which one you want, depending on the tribes depending what you want to do. I know Mothership is very good because now you can get golden versions of the other ones. At the same time, it really, I've seen it lock boards down with indecision where people kind of have all of them and they just didn't work because they went too far. But if you can narrow it down and you get lucky and get a couple of the good ones with the right hero, you really can have some fun with this. Immortal's just good, period. You're gonna gain the stats of adjacent minions. You're not really going wrong there if you have any big minions on your board. So this one is a big change for Altana sticker. It is much better. And as I said earlier, a absolute mountain of gold changes. Check the description for the link if you care about those, because there's a lot. Hero update. Guess what? Poor Brand's Bronzebeard. He was nerfed, and it nerfed him so hard that he was unplayable. So now they're gonna try to nudge him back to playable. There are more battle cries in the game. I understand that. So the idea to make it harder to get Bran is important, but if it's too hard, he's just dead, right? He's like everybody else. He's getting his Bran. At best, he's getting his hero power in the form of he tripled early into a Bran, essentially, is how it feels. Obviously, he's not actually tripling into it. It just takes that long to take place. So this change at least gets it closer to where you're getting it in a reasonable amount of time. Hopefully, it just means you have to buy every battle cry you don't actually want, but it is now passive after you buy 5 Battlecry minions, get a Bran Bronzebeard once per game. It's better. Armor reductions, we've only got a couple, so I'll cover them here. Forest Lord Cenarius now has 12 armor and 9 armor in duos. Makes complete sense. Forest Lord Cenarius, way too good now, it turns out, when they bump his armor up a whole bunch, so maybe lower it just a little, see how it works. Button now has 13 armor at higher ranks and 9 armor in duos, still has 10 armor at lower ranks, and that's just to give him a little bit more staying power at those higher MMR ranks. Buttons has a high pick rate, people like playing him, so makes some sense for at least those higher ranks where he's going to die faster to give him a little more durability. We'll see. Minion pool updates. These are going to feel a little weird, just bear with me here. We've got Low Flyer, Arm of the Empire, and Slippery Slider all leaving. And I don't really care at all about them leaving. Low Flyer, Arm, at best, Slippery Slider, you like generating that spellcraft, but you don't actually typically want the minion. So fine with those changes. But now the weird part. We've taken 3 minions out, right? But now we're gonna bring in a whole bunch more. So if you like your pool diluted, if you like having a hard time finding your minions you want, here you go. You're about to be ecstatic. Yes, more minions. Maybe all at tier 5? General Dracasath, Hunter of Gatherers, Adaptive Ancestor, Coast Guard, Pirate Players, Huzzah! Kangor's Apprentice, no more automatons. Dark Crest, Strategist, Handless Forsaken, Dagger Spine Thrasher have been added to the minion pool. And that's a lot coming in with only a couple going out. So yeah, that means a more diluted pool of minions to just drive you completely nuts when you're looking for that one card. That one card that just got a little harder to find. Now we're gonna cover the minion changes because yay, let's make this video last 4 hours long, heretic. Here we go. Tauren Spirit Walker goes from being a 6/5, you cast 1 spell each turn twice, to now being a 7/5. You cast 1 tavern spell each turn twice. And that's important for you Quillbore players, and not so much Naga players, depending which spellcraft that is. And triple rewards is the big one. Yes, you now will not triple and get 2 of them, which this thing was always an instant buy. When I know I had a triple and I saw it in the shop, I'm like, all right, well, buy this, play this. Like I could sell 3 minions and not care for the most part. Buy, play this, get my triple, and then get 2 triple rewards. It was kind of stupid. This is a good change for this card. I don't think it really mattered so much with the spellcraft and the blood gems, but it certainly mattered with triple rewards. Let's just make it tavern spell and be fine with it. Silithid Burrower got an interesting change. We all knew this was useless the moment we saw it, and maybe now it won't be. And let me tell you why it looks a little interesting. Used to be a 5/1 death rattle. Give your beast +1/+1 of Avenge 3. Improve this by +1/+1 permanently. It was awkward. You had to hide it in back for a while to let it grow up enough to be worth playing out front, right? Now, 5/4 death rattle. Give your beast +1/+1. Avenge 1. Improve this by 1/1 permanently. Okay, so yeah, you need a turn. Maybe a turn, maybe 2 turns. If you can get away with 3 turns of buffing this thing, your beasts are gonna get chunky. So this is interesting. This is a significant change. This makes this card go from nigh unplayable to now just, do you have enough time to scale it to make it worth playing? Gentle Stag's getting a buff, and I'm kind of surprised by that because I thought it was fine before. It's just mostly a stat buff it gives, but now it's whenever you summon a minion in combat, give your rightmost beast +3/+3 permanently. It's a 1/1 change, but I already felt that Gentle Stag, or not General Stag, was just fine. He felt like a general because he made something in the back end of your army kick ass while everybody else died and was summoned out. I don't know. I felt like this one was just fine. Even if it was just buffing itself at a 2/2 buff, that felt pretty good in some early game boards. You had 3 or 4 death rattles. Making it better feels excessive, but it's just me. Valiant Tiger goes from being a 4/3 taunt death rattle, give your rightmost beast +4/+3 permanently, to now being a 5/5 taunt death rattle, give your rightmost beast +5/+5 permanently. Once again, not bad. I don't really love this at tier 4. I feel like it could be just lowered and put at tier 3. I feel like at tier 4 it feels awkward because what it does I don't really care about that late, but I mean if you put it at like tier 2 it'd have to be a permanent 1/1 buff. Honestly, it might feel better at tier 2 or 2 or 3 I feel like is the sweet spot. 4 this still feels a little excessive, but there are times when I would just pop it down because you generate it randomly, you'd be cycling cards and it would make sense to just buff your shimmer in the back with it, but otherwise, we'll see. Ashen Corruptor, tiny change, functionality the exact same, but now it's going to be a tier 5/6/6 instead of a tier 5/5. Makes sense. I mean, this thing was pretty good already, but this is after your hero takes damage, rewind it, give your minions in the tavern +1/+1. This is exceptionally good with the spell buffing and whatnot, and just the ways you can make your demons ridiculous. Putting it at tier 5 means there's less of them in the pool, and the effect they give is still incredibly impactful, so makes sense. It feels like a tier 5. Shadow Dancer got a just straight up buff, which felt weird to me because I already loved this card and felt the only issue when I was playing my demon spell build was I wasn't finding this early enough often. If you found it early, you were in really good shape with certain minions. But now it's at tier 4 and it's a 4/2. I don't care about its stats. You can make this thing a 1/1 and I'm happy for it. I want the effect. If you find this and you've got double death rattles or ways to trigger this, ways to consume the shop, it's insane. And if you're already low on health, you already know you don't have time for this. Putting this at tier 4 makes this a much better card. This is a significant buff to demons, I feel. Fireforged Evoker, maybe we'll see these in play. I've never seen one on a board, but maybe now? Probably not, but maybe. Start of combat, give your dragons +1/+1 after you cast 2 tavern spells, improve this. Now, start of combat, give your dragons +2/+1, so 1 more attack. After you cast a tavern spell, improve this. So they've given you more attack, and they've reduced the number of spells in half you cast to get that buff increased. So not bad. I still don't know if we'll see it, but with the other changes, maybe this makes dragons viable and this will be good. And maybe not. It's dragons. We're kind of used to it either being the greatest thing in the world or complete crap. Spirited Whimsy Drake, small, tiny change, goes from being tier 5 to tier 4. Same exact effect. If you like it, still worth it. If you like to cycle cards, it's another card that you can cycle cards for value from, so not bad. Greenskeeper just got a stat big ass bump, goes from being a 2/7 to a 4/8. Same effect after this attack, trigger your rightmost battle cry. I feel like this is a massive change. They gave it a decent bit more attack, a little more health, which was already well statted, it felt like, but you just didn't see it because no one was playing dragons. I don't think this card was weak. I think it was just good at being something that triggered a battle cry and would typically survive in the early game. So I think this is just going to be better and we'll see more of them. So we'll see. Once again, another positive change to dragons. Little bumps, just little nudging in the right direction might make them very viable. Speaking of, Bronze Steward used to be a 7/3 battle cry and death rattle give your dragons +7 attack. Now 10/2 battle cry and death rattle give your dragons +10 attack. Once again, dragons getting pushed in the right direction. We might see the resurgence. Technical element with a not technical change at all. It is a massive change. I don't call it a nerf. I just call it a straight up buff. Goes from being tier 5, 10/10 to being tier 2, 4, 5. I feel like this is still massively overstated. And at tier 2, you're just going to generate a ton of them because it's so low tier. So, hey, mech boards, it just turns out you need the low tier mechs. Just those magnetics to be viable. We'll see. We'll check the other changes, but while this could be considered a nerf, I think this is just a straight up buff. Amplifying Light Spawn, the bane of everyone who not playing elementals in your lobby, just got blown up. We'll see. We'll see what you think. I know what I think. Used to be tier 6, 5/9. At the end of your turn, your elementals that give stats grant an extra +1/+1 this game. End of turn, worked with the Jakari, 1/1 to all those things was a big deal. now is tier 5, so there's more in the pool. 3-8, stats don't really matter that much. At the end of your turn, your elementals that give stats grant an extra +1 health this turn, swamps to attack each turn. That is a big difference. That is a massive change to how many stats they're giving. But at the same time, you can get it earlier. So maybe it's not going to be the crowning monster of terror that it was, but it still can be incredibly impactful if you hit it early. We'll see. Lacolar Frost Forger definitely got some more nerfs. It used to be tier 5, 7-5. At the end of your turn, give your other minions +2/+2, to now being tier 6. At the end of your turn, give your other elementals +3/+2. So you'll never see this in Menagerie again. It only works on elementals and all-type minions. Definitely going to see a lot less of them just because of the tier change, but at the same time, this doesn't work with every single board you're playing. It only works if you have elementals. So I don't think this is going to be the monster it was by a lot. I think we're going to see a big change. I feel like this almost could just stay at tier 5 with the exact same thing where it's just buffing elementals, but they moved one down, so they must move one up. Blazing Greasefire got a buff because we're nerfing elementals, right? Right? Obviously, they're not as good as they were, but this is a significant change also, especially if you get it early. Used to be old at the end of your turn, give elementals in the tavern +3/+2 this game. Is now new at the end of your turn, give elementals in the tavern +4/+4 this game. Yeah, okay. I mean, if you hit the super early, you're probably still looking at elementals. Let's face it, if you're a hardcore Nomi fan out there, you're still loving this kind of setup. You're gonna play it. Speaking of elemental buffs, Dancing Barnstormer goes from being Battlecry and Death Rattle, give elementals in the tavern +2/+2 this game, to being Battlecry and Death Rattle, give elementals in the tavern +4/+4 this game. Remember, we're nerfing elementals. Don't worry about elementals anymore. This is fine. Not a problem at all. It's gonna be just fine. I know it's not as good because the light spawn isn't as good, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think they're gonna be as crazy, but they still have potential, that's for sure. Landlubber now got a buff. Goes from being tier 3 to tier 2 with the exact same stat line. So a 4/5 elemental pirate, putting extra spells in the tavern for all those spell builds. And there's more of them. And that 4/5 stat line does not belong on tier 2 once again. I'm a little confused. I guess they want us basic curving because they're putting a lot of stats on tier 2. There's a lot of tempo there. We'll have to see. But it's starting to look kind of like that's what they want us to do. Electron powered up. Well, he's not powered as much as he used to be. Used to be a 5/5. You cast 2 tavern spells, magnetize a 3/3 satellite to your mechs. Now is a 6/6 at the end of your turn, magnetize a 3/3 satellite to all your mechs. Obviously, this is not as good, right? We're used to casting a bunch of spells, getting the right mechs, generating our spells, and just like spell, I win. Now, we're going to be looking for Jakari, having this sit there and just jamming them on to just do your good old fashioned, we're playing magnetics. I think this will be it'll be okay. It's not going to be as good, obviously. It's going to be significantly less magnetics being thrown around, but it's still going to be okay. To be honest, this is just kind of where it should have been to begin with. Ancestral Automaton got a buff because why not? We love automatons, don't we? They're not one of the minions I hate most in the game. It's just going to be now have 1 extra attack. So it has +3/+2 for each other ancestral automaton you summon this game, wherever this is. As we mentioned earlier, Kangor's Apprentice is back. We're already going to be summoning more of these things, I'm sure, and I'm so looking forward to seeing more automatons just falling out of the sky on my opponent's board every time I kill a minion. Yay. Grimskill Elegist got a change. Used to be a 2/1, now a 3/2, otherwise the same. Wasn't excited to begin with. Not really now, but it is better. Sholfin Mystic got a buff. New Battlecry, your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +1/+1 this game. Means if you're playing any kind of spell buffing, you're definitely going to be looking at this as potential to buff up those tavern spells. It was good before to cycle just for the health. Now it's going to have a 1/1 buff. This can actually be decently significant if you cycle enough of these and you get lucky. So not bad. If anything, it's just a little bit extra stats, and it's always going to be good. Gormling Gourmet goes from a 2/2 to a 4/3. Same ability otherwise. Just a good stat increase. It's weird because it's at tier 4. It seems kind of low statted, but you know, I'm just comparing it to tier 2 minions. What do I know? Apprentice of Sephin, the minion that in 4 hours destroyed the entire meta and they had to emergency patch it out of the game, is back. Totally going to be not a problem ever again, we promise. We've seen to it, and they've definitely nerfed it, but how much? Used to be tier 4 battle cry, give your Murlocs +4/+4 and a random bonus keyword. Who thought that would be a problem? Murlocs battle crying minions to get keywords? There's no good keywords, right? That'll be fine. You know, it's not like the brands are out there and hero powers and minions that trigger battle cries, so we can get all the keywords on every... Okay, we'll go away from that. Now being tier 5, so there's less of them. At the end of your turn, gain +4/+4 and a random bonus keyword. Obviously not as good, right? Not nearly as good. You get a Drakari, that could be problematic. You get a Golden Sephin and a Drakari, and yeah, Murloc boards will terrify you. We'll see. I still think this is going to be quite good. Hackerfin got an oh so tiny nerf. Nothing. Let me know if you can see the difference here. Used to be a 6/3. Battlecry, give your other minions +3/+3 for each bonus keyword they have. Now it's a 5/3. Battlecry, give your other Murlocs +1/+1, improved by each different bonus keyword in your warband. Okay, so specifically, it only buffs Murlocs now. So we're not going to see this being cycled through for mech boards to buff them. No Menagerie. Obviously, all type minions still count, but it's not going to be as bad. It's only going to be buffing Murlocs. But they've also reduced it from a 3/3 to a 1/1. Once again, still increased by how many bonus keywords? We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. Murlocs can still be insane with this because if they can give a million, I don't know, somehow extra keywords to minions, that would make this far more effective. We'll see. Coil Scar Sapper got a little bit of a nerf. They go from a 5/4 to a 3/2, but they're still tier 3. Now, I still feel like this is pretty good ability for tier 3. 2 random spellcraft every time this thing dies, especially where it's so easy to give Reborn. I feel like this is still silly good. Is it as silly good as before with that stat line? No. It still doesn't belong at tier 3. I would still put this thing up at tier 4 at least. No, probably 4. 4 is where I feel like this belongs even with the stat change. The 2 random spellcrafts is just amazing because, like I said, you're always going to be able to give this thing Reborn typically. You're going to golden this thing. I feel like it's still just way too good for even tier 3. I think it needs to go higher. But we'll see. Maybe this does it and I'm completely wrong. I won't complain because it means... well, it'll mean my Naga aren't as good, but it means all the other ones aren't too. Weary Mage goes from being a tier 3/4/1 to a tier 4/5/1, so there'll be less of them in the pool. Same spellcraft, still giving Reborn and stats. We'll see. I definitely don't mind this Naga when I have the right Nagas on my board, but if I have certain ones, I don't really care. I need to have the value ones. So we'll see if this is going to be a nerf that really sets Nagas back, or if it's just a timing issue. Now I don't have to buy this early when it doesn't really do anything other than target itself. Slumber Sorcerer goes from being a tier 5 to a tier 4. Same exact stat lines, which is good for a tier 4, but at the same time, I mean, there are tier 2 minions with almost the same stat line, so is it that good a stat line? And I still don't love the spell this thing gives at all, so maybe we see more of these being used, but somehow I doubt it. I still think not many of these will be around. They're lower tiers, so the effect will feel a little better, so we'll see a little more of them, but it's not going to be enough to shift the tide. Defiant Shipwright got a buff nerf. Depending how you want to feel about it, I call it a buff. Used to be tier 3, 3/6. Now it's back to its original home at tier 2, 2/5. We'll see. I feel like this is a great card for pirate boards, but only if found early. So the farther back you move it in the tiers, the harder it is to find it. The later it shows up, the less it's worth. So tier 2 is kind of a sweet spot for this card to me. We'll see. Sometimes it's a little oppressive also at tier 2. So depends how many cards are found in conjunction with this to give it stats. Starry-Eyed Explorer goes from being a 3/4 to a 5/5. My problem with this thing is the every other turn about it. It's nice. That's nice, but it only makes an adjacent tier 2 minion go. That's it. Just tier 2. And often I don't really care about it. I mean, at tier 3, and if I get this, it's a 5/5, and I have a good decent tier 2, I need to make gold. Nothing wrong with putting it on the board. I just feel like it's not good enough. It's definitely a card I'm cutting very soon. It's good really fast, and then it ages out even faster. Gold Grubber got a tiny buff. Now it's a 3/3. At the end of turn, give +3/+3 for each friendly golden minion. Once again, I feel like this card is incredibly just outdated. It doesn't really fit on pirate boards still. Yeah, you could show me a board with everything gold and Drakari and the right trinket. I've done it. It still doesn't work. Maybe it'll work with the other changes, but I think otherwise it's just still kind of a crappy, too slow trap. Dastardly Drust got a buff, and I love playing APM Pirates, so I want this buff. I mean, what I really want is Fleet Admiral Tethys to come back. Hey, anybody at Blizzard like playing Pirates? Give us our Tethys back, please. I mean, probably don't give us Drust and Tethys, because that would be a little stupid, but at the same time, yeah, let's just have stupid for a little while. Pirates don't get... I don't care about Exodia Pirates. I don't want to return to that. I want a return to APM glories. Give us Drust and give us Tethys for just a month, just a week. Give me a moment to enjoy them. Goes to a 6/4 whenever you get a pirate. Give your minions +1/+2. Give golden ones +2/+3 instead. That is a huge buff if you're cycling a lot of cards, because you just have to get, generate, buy. However those pirates are coming to you, this thing gives you the buff. Now, the downside with this is pirates, once again, don't really have divine shields, don't have reborn, don't have venom, don't generally have death rattle, so we just have stats. So we need a whole lot of stats to make this work. My issue with this is you've given pirates more stats. At the same time, you've given Murlocs the ability to give a million keywords and then buff them with more stats for those keywords, making pirates less relevant than they already are. Pirates, yeah, we're screwed. At least give us Tethys so we can have fun. Let's just give us so many stats and so much cycling. We at least had fun cycling cards before the Murlocs all murder us, please. Glow Gullet Warlord, only the golden version received a change, and that is just now they have summoned 2/2 Quillbore with taunt, play 2 blood gems on them when they're summoned. It's just a change to the baseline of the ones being summoned out. Instead of being summoned out being 1/1s, now they're 2/2s, which makes sense because it's gold. Yeah, they'll have more stats. It's a lot of tempo because this card already is a lot of tempo. And if you're spending the gold to have a golden one on this board, you should get that additional tempo. So not a bad change. Dreaming Thornweaver, which is great when you're playing Quillbore, even if it's a little slow. Goes from being a 2/6 to a 2/8. So a good change. Just, it's a little more survivable. Corrupted Bristler, getting a nerf. Goes from tier 3 to tier 4. Same stats. And I feel like that's kind of where it should be anyways. Yeah, it sucks when you don't have any blood gems on it, but you already knew that. Doesn't matter what tier it's at. We'll see. Dark Gaze Elder got a massive buff, and I just want to say, look out, because it goes from being tier 6, 6, 7, whenever you spend 6 gold, play a blood gem on 3 friendly Quillbore, to now being tier 5, so there's a lot more, 5, 6, whenever you spend 6 gold, play a blood gem on all your Quillbore. Quillbore, yeah, they're a threat if they get this early especially. Look out. We're going to start seeing a return to Dark Gaze, that's for sure. 3 little Quillbore got a nerf, goes from being tier 5 to tier 6 with the same effect. With the dev comment, the text update is a non-functional change just for clarity's sakes. There we go. 3 little Quillbore does feel really good. So I kind of feel like it being up there on tier 6 feels about right. But I feel like at tier 6, it's same time, if your blood gems aren't buffed, utterly useless, so it feels bad when you triple into it. We'll see. Anubarak getting changed again, goes from tier 4 to tier 3. Yeah, he's a 3/2 stat. We don't care. It just means more Anubarak, which means maybe undead will be useful. We'll see. 9 Avenge 4 get a butchering. I mean, I really don't know how I feel about this card. Yeah, it feels really good when you can generate enough undead or find them to butcher them. But it has to survive in the back, and yeah, it's a little more survivable. It doesn't need as many to die to give you a butchering. But now you need to find enough minions to butcher. So it's definitely a cost benefit. It's like, yeah, you're getting more attack, but you have to find something to kill. So I don't know how much I love this, but maybe this will make undead a little better. Noisel of the Many Faces, the most useless tier 6 that's existed in ages, goes from being a 2/9 whenever you summon an undead, give 4 friendly undead +1/+1 permanently, to now being 3/9 whenever you summon an undead, give all friendly undead +2/+1 permanently. Now that is a big increase. It is a 2/1 instead of a 1/1. Okay, not huge, but it's all of your minions, not 4 friendly. So yeah, it's still gonna buff the token it summons out, but who cares, because it's also buffing all your other minions. So maybe this makes Noisel a little more useful? We'll have to play some games to see, but at least gives me hope. Catacomb Crasher just got nuked from orbit. Are you ready? Used to be a 5/10 whenever you would summon a minion that doesn't fit in your warband, give your minions +1/+1. Is now 6/10 whenever you would summon a minion that doesn't fit in your warband, give your undead +2/+2. Only undead. So no more beetle boards. Shimmerfly players, I'm sorry. You just got nerfed. Big time, because this was insane when this was in the lobby with beasts. Now, you're actually going to see it on undead boards just with undead boards, but also not great for Titus, but you still need Titus to magnify that amount of buffing, but ultimately he's going to be kind of crappy in the back, or maybe not all the way in back. We'll see how it plays out. I think we'll still see overflow undead boards. They're just not going to be quite as dominant as they have been in the beast form right now, really. Arcane Behemoth got a buff. Basically, it's back to its original abilities, where now it is taunt. After you sell it, an elemental, gain its stats. It has been half for a little while. It was too good back in the anomaly meta, but I feel like this now is where it really should be, because it doesn't feel very good getting half the stats. Maybe we'll see more of these. Tavern spell changes, we've got a couple. We're starting with Natural Blessing. It is now new. Choose a minion. Give all minions that share a type with it +3/+3. It's only a 1/1 buff, but remember, we can buff our Tavern spells. It's the same cost, it's the same tier, so this is a straight up good buff for the spell. Seafood Stew got a massive buff, which will affect Murloc boards dramatically. Get ready for this one. Used to be give a minion +1/+1 for each bonus keyword it has. Now is give a minion +1/+1, repeat for each different bonus keyword in your warband. So you will be getting the maximum buff from this quite a bit. And with ways to generate this in Murlocs, it is a decent enough stat bump where it's not horrible for 1 gold, or if you're just generating it for free. I think this is really good early at tier 3 when you have a few keywords out there spread across your entire board. Give that thing with Divine Shield a lot more stats. I think this one will see a lot of play now. It was already fine. 1 gold, you didn't really care about it if you didn't have a lot of keywords, but with Murloc boards being a thing again, and with as many keywords as they're about to have, this will be a more significantly effective spell. And I just wanted to emphasize this because I realized later that maybe I hadn't conveyed it quite the way I wanted to. The +1/+1 repeat for each different bonus keyword is not typically going to be just a +1/+1 bonus, because if you've buffed your spell bonuses, say to +5/+5, and you were attaching, say, 5 keyword bonuses to this, it would be a +6/+6 repeated those number of times, not +1/+1, making this a much better spell. And I wasn't sure if I'd conveyed it quite right, so I wanted to add this on. We have a couple Battleground bug fixes and game improvements. First, we have fixed a bug where Floating Watcher was causing lag in late game in demon compositions. So have your lobbies been grinding to a halt because of demons? It might have been the fault of Floating Watcher. I'm always under the impression it was spells being cast, but maybe it was the Watcher's interaction with those spells doing it. No, we're gonna see. Fixed a bug where Spirited Whimsy Drake could pull minions that were no longer in the minion pool. Well, that would be fun, right? Oh look, cards that shouldn't be in the game. Here we go. That's a good fix, yeah, definitely. Some of them would be stupid, I'm sure, but others could be really game warping, because there's a lot of things that have been removed from the game that it could give. So I didn't see that bug, but that's interesting. Made a text-only correction to Guzzle the Goop. No idea what that is. Haven't seen it, but it looks better or different. We'll see. Don't really buy that spell ever. Fixed a bug where Hackerfin was missing its VFX. Well, I haven't used Hackerfin in a while, so we'll see. I don't know what it was missing, but maybe now we'll see a more interesting trigger with it. That's it. That is all the changes. Now, just to record this took well over an hour. I'm sure I'm going to spend many hours editing this thing together now. So good luck to me. Say goodbye to my day. This is what I'll be doing. What do you think? Are you excited about these changes? What do you think is going to happen? Do you see a certain tribe that you think is ascendant? I don't want to tell you what I think, because I don't want to, influence you too much. But I think a certain tribe of minions that were very good for 4 hours and then nerfed are about to be dominant again. But maybe not, maybe not. Maybe things will be different. We'll see. I'm excited to get these changes underway. My only regret is this meta was so warped and so unbalanced. The usual 2 weeks they spent felt like a decade. It was just way too long. And I'm afraid that we've lost a lot of players who might not want to come back even with these changes because they just were so disgusted with it. They just moved on. Hopefully not. Us Battleground players tend to be pretty resilient, or at least we cope really well with continuously playing when we probably would normally have moved on from a game. What do you think? Are you excited? Leave in the comments below. Please let me know. I'm always excited to read those and see what people think about patches, and then tell me all the things I did wrong in the video or misread or just misinterpreted. It's so exciting, but it is useful to know what I thought something was wrong. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the Battlegrounds. Until then, have a good one. Later. Rule out, man. Now, just now, new battle cry, your tavern spells that Griv. Now it's new battle cry, your taverns? Booty Bray. Booty Bray. Shit. Booty Bay Brew now is just whatever.